Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
Here are today's top headlines. Fiat threatens to walk out on the Chrysler deal. Big truck sales could signal a turnaround, and new navigation technology from Mercedes. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Wednesday, April 15th, 2009, and now the news. Fiat just ratcheted up the pressure on the UAW and CAW big time. In an interview with the Canadian newspaper The Globe and Mail, Sergio Marchionne, Fiat's CEO, says he'll walk away from a deal with Chrysler unless its unions agree to match labor costs at the transplants. He criticizes the unions for their sense of entitlement. He says the unions have to realize Chrysler is technically bankrupt already and that there is no wealth to be distributed. No response yet from the UAW or CAW. Powertrain and vehicle engineering company FEV plans to show a range-extended plug-in version of the Dodge Caliber at this year's SAE show. FEV's hybrid system uses a 1-liter 3-cylinder engine that's mated to an electric motor with a peak power of 75 kilowatts and a lithium-ion battery pack. The vehicle has an all-electric range of 40 miles, about 64 kilometers, and a top speed of 84 miles an hour, or 135 clicks. Last month, GM sold only 141 Pontiac G3s in the U.S. According to the Wall Street Journal, dealers have nearly 3,500 in stock. That's enough to last nearly 2 years at the current sales rate. Ironically, it was Pontiac dealers who were screaming for a small car that forced GM to come out with the G3. Medium and heavy-duty truck sales are a leading indicator of how the economy is going to perform. Wards reports that in February, deliveries fell by 39%, but last month the decline was only 32%. Sales of big Class 8 trucks dropped almost 37% in February, but deliveries were down only 18% in March. Could this mean the U.S. economy is turning a corner? Too early to tell, but let's keep our eye on this one. Always on the cutting edge, Mercedes is offering a new display technology on the 2010 S-Class called Split View. It lets the driver and front passenger see two different things on the same screen. It uses a backlighted active matrix color display that was developed by Bosch. To work, the pixels are arranged next to each other, and then a special filter on the screen splits the image so only part of it's visible from each seating position. This allows the driver to keep tabs on the navigation system or tune the radio, while the front seat passenger watches Sex and the City on DVD. Say, coming up next, it's time for You Said It.
Changing tires out here could be dangerous, but with these tires, I don't need to worry.
Bridgestone.
And now it's time for some of your feedback. This is You Said It. Every day we get all kinds of comments and questions from you, our viewers. You Said It gives me a chance to respond. First up, Kit Gerhardt commented on yesterday's report about the safety news from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. He says, maybe the IIHS will now conduct some crash tests between a Suburban and a railroad locomotive to see if the locomotive is safer in a head-on crash. And Kit, I just love the visuals. Next, Alex Kajdi from Rybrook, New York, wrote in asking about General Motors' electric drivetrain. If GM already has the Voltec drive system in a new Chevy Cruze, why doesn't GM bring an EV Cruze to market ASAP? Well, for one thing, the Cruze isn't out yet, and for another, it's just not going to perform as well as the Volt, so I think we ought to wait for the Volt. Next, Yak 69 from YouTube left us a comment about the Puma electric scooter from GM and Segway. Okay, he says, my first impression was to laugh so hard that milk came shooting out of my nose. But the more I look at this Puma based on its urban application, the better I think the idea actually is. And I don't like those visuals, but I agree with you. I think the Puma is kind of cool. Lastly, we got an audio comment from Brant Whitelock of Wichita, Kansas, asking about Ford's truck line.
I was just wondering, I have not heard anything about a replacement lately for the dated Ford Ranger pickup, and I was wondering if anybody had some further information on that. Thank you.
Brant, the problem Ford faces is it has actually 3 different Rangers. I think one in Thailand, one in Brazil, and of course the United States. It cannot get them all synced up on the same product cycle until about 2011 or thereabouts. We ought to see a new Ranger sometime in that time frame. And that's it for this week's edition of You Said It. But join us again tomorrow night for Autoline After Hours, a live webcast where we talk about the issues in the auto industry and give our opinions on cars and brands without any of the veneer or flashy production you get from traditional media. Joining me, Jason Vines, and Peter DeLorenzo will be Michael Banofsky, the Canadian blogger who seems to be dominating the automotive side of Twitter. That's tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern or 2400 hours Greenwich Mean Time at AutolineDetroit.tv. That's it for the top news in today's global automotive industry. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Visit our website for even more great content all week long. Autoline Extra, Dawn's Journal, podcasts, and even more. So click over and get the inside view at AutolineDetroit.tv.